Don't underestimate the power of a thank you. We're talking about that today on the Church Revitalization podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Church Revitalization podcast, brought to you by the Malphurs Group team, where each week we tackle important, actionable topics to help churches thrive. And now, here's your hosts, Scott Ball and AJ Matthew.
Welcome to the Church Revitalization podcast. My name is Scott Ball. I'm joined by my friend and co-host, AJ Matthew. AJ, happy early Thanksgiving. And to our listeners, maybe you're on the road this week. You're driving somewhere to meet family, be with family, or go on vacation. Or you're fighting the TSA security line in an airport. However, or wherever you might be listening to us this week, we want to say thank you. So we're going to keep this episode pretty brief this week, but we want to talk about the power of a thank you. And speaking of flying, AJ, I thought I've got a little story to share to segue into our topic.
Good. A thank you story on Thanksgiving week.
Yes. Okay. So, AJ, you and I are frequent flyers with American Airlines. We fly almost exclusively with American or one of the One World Alliance airlines, British Airways, etc. Yeah,
Mostly,
yes,
when we can.
As much as we possibly can. You're trying to build up loyalty points and status and all this because it does make the flying experience just better generally.
Yeah.
If you can gain those things. But one of the most
they have value too as a nonprofit. There's value.
That's true.
Because you do get free things. Yeah, we get a lot of points and things that yes. So we try to steward as best we can by participating in loyalty programs. Yeah.
That's a really good point. Yeah. There are benefits that we get that we would not be able to afford as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
That are afforded to us by sticking with an airline or with an alliance.
You're going to be here in just a few weeks at the cost of $11 for us. So a flight with an $11
That's
fee
right.
we got for free.
Yeah, totally. So all that to say, one of the kind of elusive things out there, if you aren't a frequent flyer with American Airlines, you might not know this, is that if you're a really loyal customer, very occasionally you will get a thank you card from a flight attendant on your flight.
Yeah. When you arrive at the plane, like a note.
I got it actually. So I got one for the first time ever just yesterday as I was flying home from working with a church in Canada. And it was almost before we were landing is when I actually got it. But so this is it right here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see
a little washed out. There you go. That's
it.
Okay. There you go.
You're seeing me holding this card, and it's pretty generic, just like, hey, I'll read it. Thank you so much for flying with us today. I do appreciate your business and loyalty. I hope to see you on another flight soon. Please be safe and stay well. And at any rate, this is a small thing. I'm not saying I'm going to frame it, but I'm definitely not throwing it away. And if you're listening to this, you probably think that is so stupid. But listen, like, it's just nice. We do fly a lot. We spend a lot of time on American Airlines planes, and it's nice to be thanked for flying with them. And it's meaningful to me. I was like, I got this little thank you note. And maybe that's not your personality. Maybe you don't love a thank you note, but I'm certain, and this is what we're talking about today on the podcast. Thank yous are powerful, whether it's through a small thing like a postcard like this, or just someone putting their hand on your shoulder and saying, hey, I really appreciate you. Whatever it is that might be meaningful to you, those thank yous go a long way, and they're really powerful in the sense that they sustain. So one thank you, you'll remember for a long time. And so I just wanted to spend a little bit of time, AJ, not too long today, but thinking about who are the kinds of people we need to be sure we're thanking,
Mhm.
and then maybe a couple ways that we can do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do think it is meaningful, especially when it's not expected, you know? Like that's
Yeah.
not part of it's not part of the flight attendant's job. Here's your postcards for this week. Make sure you write one of these for everybody because everybody would walk off the plane, throw them in the trash.
Right.
So a thank you. I'm not saying it don't thank people very often so that when you do, it's super special. That's not the point here either. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, to be thanked for something when you know somebody is actually doing it because they wanted you to feel special.
Okay, well,
That's a great
for
thank you.
context, AJ, I'm just looking at. I have an app that tells me I have flown. Now, not 100% of these have been on American, but almost all. I've flown 79 flights in 2023, almost 68,000 miles, and this is the first, and that's just this year.
Yeah.
And I've never got one of these, so it's very rare,
Mm-hmm.
but it's meaningful. Like I
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the air a lot too, and I have never received a card. I've gotten some verbal recognition, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
call you by name. Thanks for being here. I've never gotten a postcard. So yeah, I'm in the air up there much of the time as well. So I am excited because you and I are in some Facebook groups and people post their cards. I got a
Uh-huh.
card. Which is that was part of our motivation for
Well,
talking
yeah,
about this today because
that's right. I didn't
people
even know these cards existed.
yeah,
Yeah, but
people are
think about
posting
it.
that these cards exist and they get excited when they get one.
When they
That
get
is a
one, they're like,
powerful
"Hey, I
thank
got a
you.
card."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a powerful thank you. So yeah, well, I mean, bringing that into more of our day to day, and our work within the church, your work on your staff team. Most of you listening to this are volunteer or paid staff at churches. So yeah, I mean, we don't want to take people for granted. We want to take the time to give a thank you to somebody, and you probably do that just like, hey, thanks. I mean, we throw that around, in our culture, in our language, quite, I don't know, profusely, maybe. Thanks, 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 which is good. But that's different from, hey, thank you for X, Y, Z.
Right. I mean, I guess
Something.
to use our flying analogy, every person getting off the plane says thanks, have a great day, thank you. I mean,
Yeah. Bye bye.
you hear bye bye, see ya, bye bye, thanks for flying with us. We all hear that. There's something different about someone looking you in the eye and saying, I really appreciate you, and I appreciate this thing about you or this thing that you did. It is not the same, and it hits you differently. And so I want to be sure that there are people that you might be taking for granted, and this week sometime, or this upcoming Sunday after Thanksgiving, be sure you take some time to maybe look at these people in the eye. It's a great time of year to remember this, to think about it and go, who do I need to look in the eye and say, hey, I have not told you this in a while, but I really appreciate you. Or take the time to write them a little thank you note. So who are these people that we should be thanking, AJ?
Definitely our volunteers. I mean, the backbone of the church, the people that step up to the call, the scriptural call, and do invest their time and their talent into what we have to accomplish together as the church. So our ministry volunteers, most certainly. Hopefully you're doing, also, with some regularity, at least annually, something to recognize them. But you can do stuff that have absolutely no cost throughout the year just to make sure that they're seen, they're valued, they're appreciated. And so you don't want to miss those folks.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, if you're managing a bazillion volunteers, it's really easy to kind of lose sight of all of them and what everyone is doing. And so that'd be maybe another pitch of mine to go to malphursgroup.com/pipeline-cohort, join our leadership pipeline cohort. because you really need to be directly managing no more than 8 people. And if you have structured your team properly so that you're not overseeing too many people directly, then you should have the time to invest in them and to thank them and to communicate with them regularly and be able to see what it is that they're doing and be able to express honor and gratitude in the right way. I mean, I think one of the reasons why we don't do this enough with our volunteers, AJ, is that we have so many that are under us that we don't even know, we don't even see all the things that they're doing. We don't even know all the things that they're getting done. And so it's hard to properly thank them, but definitely the ones that you know, the ones that come to your mind, the ones that are there every week. And I just want to encourage you not to take them for granted. Pull them aside and say, hey, I really appreciate you, or write them a card, or take them to coffee, make time to invest in them and to thank them.
Yeah. So the next group is just those staffers as well, that are there putting in their part-time or full-time effort every week. This was the first group that came to mind for me this morning, Scott, as I was, getting ready for my day and just thinking about, doing an episode about Thanksgiving this week. Just thinking, you and I love what we do. I love what I do. And I think about you guys out there that are listening to us all around the world. I mean, we're your church, from the middle of Africa somewhere to, Northern Europe and Southeast Asia. This is your day. I mean, this is your calling. It's your mission. It's your livelihood. It's your career, and you're in it every day. We are here to support you. So I'm just thinking about you guys, I hope you love what you do as much as I love what I do, and Scott loves what he does. That would be our prayer and desire for you to have that fulfillment and joy in what you do. But I also know how tough it is, though I have never walked in your shoes. And so, I'm just thinking about you this week. Thankful for you being out there. I mean, the hands and feet of Christ in the church, dealing with all of that stuff that you have to deal with. So, I mean, I feel blessed to be here. What am I doing? I'm just sitting here at my desk recording a podcast. No big deal. We want to support you. Thankful that you're out there. We all collectively are the church, and we're important for the world who doesn't know Jesus, and for those that do. But love you guys. Thank you for being out there and doing what you do day after day.
Yeah, in fact, I was just talking with some people yesterday, having this conversation. I did work for 15 years, no, just shy of, on staff in church before doing this for the last almost 8 years now. And I was talking about how would I want to make the switch back to working on staff in church, and a big part of it is I have a very clear sense that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, a sense of calling to this particular ministry at this particular time and place. But another part of it is I know how hard it is, what you all do, the week in, week out, Sunday to Sunday grind that can sometimes become the Sunday to Sunday hamster wheel, which we're always trying to encourage you to break out of that, break free from it. And yet at the end of the day, there is still an aspect of ministry that is like just cyclical. It's, you get through one thing, you got to get through the other thing, and you just got to keep plowing on and on and on and on. And it is tiring, and it is thankless, and people criticize, and people are negative, and all of that stuff. And so we do really appreciate what you all are doing, and know that it's a privilege to do what we do. And we hope that what we do does support and encourage you, because that is why we exist as an organization. So
yeah.
But for those, I would say, if you're on staff at a church, be sure you thank your admins. Whether you've got a church secretary who works 15 hours a week, or you've got a full-time admin assistant, whatever you've got, or you've got some volunteers that come in and do admin. That is of all of the thankless jobs in ministry, that's maybe the most thankless. Because at least you get stage time and people maybe like you. And can they go, wow, I really like Pastor Jim's sermons or whatever. No one's thanking Sally for the bulletin that she printed, or the mailer that she licked 100 envelopes for. You know what I'm saying? Like, no
Can we
one
get
is
Sally
thinking.
a damp sponge, maybe?
It's like the Seinfeld episode. How did she die? It's about the cheap envelopes. Uh, but regard, be sure you're thanking those admins. Like, they do so much work that no one even sees. And certainly no one appreciates to the degree that it should.
Yeah.
All right, one more stakeholder or group of people that we should be remembering.
Yes, the oft overlooked spouse and kids. Those closest to us sometimes are, we feel, the easiest ones to, not intentionally, but end up maybe getting the leftovers, and sometimes treated less than the people that we feel really obligated to. So yeah, our spouses and kids. We are thankful for your spouses and kids who invest in themselves so that you can do what you do with great support. And for us as well. I'm certainly thankful for my wife and kids. Because the trips have gotten longer as we've expanded globally. What used to be weekend trips, gone for 1, 2, 3 days, now is 5, 7, 10 days or longer. So thankful, to have that support at home, to be an encouragement and allowing us to do the ministry that we do. So yeah, then, and they do sometimes get the leftovers, don't they? We don't mean for that to happen, but it would be good to thank them for the investment in partnership that they make in all of our ministries.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, like, for me personally, my mother-in-law does a lot for our family when I travel, because my wife is a school teacher. So when I'm out of town, my mother-in-law will take our kids to school and pick them up, and um, and you know, she does a lot. She helps clean things up. She does kids' laundry, all this kind of stuff that she doesn't have to do, and no one is paying her to do, but she just does it. That is a support to this ministry, because it allows me to do things that I need to do. And so I'm very thankful for her, and thankful to my wife. And yeah, I'm sure you have family members too who maybe do more than you have told them thank you for. And might be, I try to always, whenever I'm doing like pass off with my kids, with my mother-in-law, say thank you so much. But I could probably do more. I should probably write a note or do something just to say thank you in some different way, so it doesn't just get lost. And I would encourage you this week to find a way to do that too. Find a way to thank your family for um, all the things that you may not even know that they do, that in actuality support your ability to be in the ministry, to focus on the ministry. Because again, those might be things that you don't see or you don't even fully know. And so be sure you don't take that for granted.
Yeah. And the thanks don't need to be something grandiose. Something simple, even sometimes something simple can be even more meaningful. So
Like a postcard.
like a little postcard.
A little postcard.
Yeah. So there you go, Scott. A week of thanks.
Week of thanks. Yeah, just an encouragement. One, we wanted to say thank you, but also just an encouragement to don't overlook the people in your life, and don't assume that they know that you are thankful for them. Assume that they don't know that they're thankful, that you're thankful for them, and find a way. And that is a message as much to me as anyone else who would be listening to this. I need to do that this week. Be sure that I find a way to say thank you to the people in my life who make ministry or allow ministry to happen for me.
Yeah, there you go, Scott. I'm thankful for you too. You're an amazing ministry partner. So
Oh,
thank you for
thank you.
thank you for
Thank
everything that
you.
you do. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. The episode of thanks, number 217. So you can go to malphursgroup.com/217. The link to the YouTube videos over there, today's podcast audio. Not that you need that because you're listening to it right now. And just our little note about being a good Thanksgivinger this week. Thank you again for being with us. We'll see you next time.